Hello Fableland followers, hello random viewers, hello everybody who stumbled up upon this channel and a video. This is MT Vukovich from the Fableland channel, and this is our book review section. And we have something brand new for you to listen about, and it is an extremely interesting book. It's called Lapvona by Ottessa Moshfegh. Hopefully I'm saying it good. Ottessa Moshfegh. Lapvona, a novel. And I heard about this book much sooner than it came out, and it compelled me to buy it and to read it, because it is set up in medieval times in some unknown village, unknown times. So that part of the story is not so relevant and important. It is some village, and that it doesn't have to be anything more than that. The village of Lapvona, and we have a story of little Marek, who is abused, delusional son of a village shepherd, and this is an extremely good book, and this is an extremely vulgar and brutal book, and it's a perfect grotesque. Ottessa Moshfegh, that's not her first book, is already experienced writer, but she gave us a perfect grotesque. Medieval times are perfect for something like that, but this sort of grotesque is something that I wasn't expecting, really. The brutality to which she goes down to is really something that you don't encounter very often, for sure. The grotesque, the violence, like everything is just something, it just raised up to much higher level than what we can expect in literature. I mean, something like this is probably written in some fan fiction of people who like to fall down a little bit into this deranged human psyche, but this is literature, and really good one at that. So we have little Marek, who is deformed, abused by his father, and on the other hand, the village is constantly befell by murders and raids and pillages and rapes and everything what you can think of bad. While on the hill lives their lord, Lord William, who lives in a completely different world. So very good commentary on social structure, not just of those times, especially of these modern times. And we get the story of how little Marek finishes up by Lord William, and how the story further develops. No spoilers, of course, but the book takes quite a lot of incredible turns, which of course in grotesque are all completely logical, why not? And the more turns it takes, the more interesting it gets, and the more it offers the writer to bring us this grotesque and brutality, vulgarity of the world that she imagined. And I gotta say, I was really stunned. I mean, I read this book in 2 nights, which now doesn't happen so often, and I just swallowed it, because the book is crazy. What goes on in Ottessa Moshfegh's mind is probably very interesting. She will be definitely an interesting person to talk to about such topic. And like I said, I don't want to spoil too much. So beside this, what is written at the back of the book, it is a good comment. It is a good comment on absurdity of life. It is a good comment on social structure. It is a good comment on this modern world of everything, to excuse my language, of everything that's fucked up. And Ottessa Moshfegh observes it very well. She brings it up to this sphere of absurdity, of grotesque, but it is very often, I mean, if you just open the news portals anywhere around the world, today we are bombarded with such vulgarities and obscenities and a horrible world that actually to compare what is there written to this book, there is not such a big difference. When a writer goes so on purpose into something like this, it looks grotesque, but really to compare it to real world and news portals, it doesn't go too much away from it. We really live in such a vulgar and brutal, grotesque world. So the difference is that Ottessa Moshfegh just so much put it together and compressed it so much that it looks like absurdity and grotesque, but if you just like put it apart a little bit, it doesn't look so absurd. It just looks like very bleak reality that anybody who follows news and see what's happening in the world will likely just recognize and say, well, that's not grotesque, that's pretty much everyday life, even today, for many people in 21st century. And that is horrible. So the book, on one hand, gives us insight into what was going on in times like that, but it doesn't diverge so much from our own world, and that is what it makes the thought of it so horrible, and that is what makes it something of a read. Because if we learn to ignore so many things in our modern life and the horrors to see and observe, this book, just like I said, it's compressed so many things inside it that it just slaps you in the face and says, yeah, well, look, that's what you live, basically. I just put it in a book of 300 pages. So yeah, welcome to your life, welcome to your world. And I don't want to sound yet now too bleak and depressive, but that's why I found it a good read. It is something that brings a little bit awakening, that we can compare our 21st century life with medieval times and not find many differences. Actually, many differences we can find, but the basics are still as horrible today in many countries, in many places, as they were then. And that's why you should read this book. Drum roll. Very fast, very simple. 5 out of 5. Go get this book. Go buy it. Go read it. It will put you off maybe, but it is something that needs to be read, especially having in mind, I don't know was it intentional or not, but for me I felt it was intention to compare it with today, with this modern the wars we see all around the world and the horrible things happening. And in this book it's also shown in such a way that we can say, God, we need more of this. We need this slap in the face to wake up and see. This book is not supposed to make you depressed. It's supposed to make you wake up and look more and just say, to recognize and to point finger in the end and say, yes, it is like that. It is horrible and everybody should know it's horrible. So yeah, Ottessa Moshfegh, thank you very much. I hope that in the future you will you don't have to write more grotesque, but I would like that you maybe write more books in medieval times, my personal favorite. So I will check some other book of yours I recommend to the others, but this one, like I said, go get it. 5 out of 5, and just read it. Read it with having in mind what I said, this constant comparison. So guys, thank you for coming to the end of the video, hopefully. This is MT Vukovich from Fableland channel. Subscribe, follow, comment, like, dislike, whatever you want, as long as you give me also some input. I am always happy for it, if it's good or bad. Give suggestions of what I can do better, or give suggestions what not to do. And have a nice time, have a nice summer reading books, and see you again with some new book.